Hi everyone, welcome to week 3 where we are focusing on our skills. So that means scales and intervals. It's a little nerdy, but totally fun. So let's start. The first thing we're going to talk about is solfege. So that's do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. If this is something you've used in the past and you're familiar with, try to use it today. That's what I will be doing. If that sounds like a totally different language to you, that's also okay. You can try it or just stick to a vowel of your choice. So don't let that hold you up. The very first idea we're going to talk about is that do will always be the very first note of our scale. So we're going to work on a major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. I started on C, so C is do. Notice how whatever note I start on, it's always going to sound like a major scale. I'll start on an A. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Sounds the same. Now we'll start on a B flat. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. The reason it sounds the same is because the pattern of whole tones and semitones that make up a major scale will always be used in the same way, no matter what note I start on. So it's like you can sing the song Happy Birthday, but you can start on a different note than somebody else, and it still sounds like the song Happy Birthday. And that's because you're using the same pattern of intervals and steps in the song. So in our major scale, we have, starting on C, do, re, which is C to D. That's a whole tone. Re, mi, D to E. That's a whole tone. Mi, fa, E to F. That's a semitone. Fa, sol, F to G. That's a whole tone. G, A, or sol, la. That's a whole tone. La, ti, A to B, whole tone. B, C, Ti, do, semitone. In case you don't know, what is a whole tone and what is a semitone? A semitone is the closest possible note. So if I'm playing the note C, the closest note above a C is a C sharp. The closest note below a C is a C flat, right? If I'm playing an E, the closest note above an E, a semitone above an E, would be an F, because there's no black key in between the notes E and F. And then an E, a semitone below an E, the closest possible note would be an E flat. So a whole tone are two semitones. So going back to C, C to D is a whole tone because in between C and D there's that black key. So there's C to C sharp, one semitone, C sharp to D, a second semitone. Therefore, C to D is a whole tone. Let's start on E. A whole tone above E would be two semitones. So E to F is a semitone. There's no black key between E and F. F to F sharp is a semitone. So E to F sharp is a whole tone. So our major scale is a pattern of whole tones and semitones. We have tone, tone, semitone, tone, 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 semitone. That means the semitone is between notes 3 to 4 and 7 to 8. So let's try it to numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a semitone. 5, 6, 7, 8, that's also a semitone. Now, back to solfege. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Good, sing the same thing, and I'm just gonna give you a new starting note, and that new starting note will always be do. Starting on an A. Good, starting on a G. Starting on a D. Awesome. Let's be crazy and go up and down. So back to D, we have do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. On C, major scale, ascending and descending, is kind of simple, but just adding that thought to it as you're singing, where are the whole tones and where are the semitones, is really useful for what we are about to do. Modes. So major and minor scales didn't used to be a thing. And before that, we had these modes, these church modes in the Middle Ages, where we didn't actually really have a tonal center as much. We can talk more about that later. But each mode is its own pattern of tones and semitones, and the versions that we're going to do will only be played on all of the white keys on the piano. So if you do have access to a piano and know where like C, D, E, F, and all those notes are, you will be able to play along and maybe figure this out on your own. So the first mode starts on C. It's the Ionian mode, and it sounds like a major scale. I'm going to use solfege here because I find it really helpful. Mi to fa is a semitone, and ti to do is a semitone. Keep that in mind as we sing these. So starting on C, the Ionian mode, which is a major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Good. Now we're going to start on D. In this case, we're not singing a major scale anymore. We're into a mode. So D, Dorian mode. We are going to start on the syllable re and watch what happens. Re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re. The semitone remains between mi and fa and ti to do. Let's try that again. Re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re. Good. Now we are going to do a mode starting on E, the Phrygian mode. We are going to start on the solfege syllable mi, which means we're singing mi to fa right away, which means we have a semitone right away. So it goes like this. Mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi. Right? So the semitone is still between mi and fa and ti to do. The rest are whole tones. Let's try that again, starting on mi. Awesome. Now we're going to do the next mode. It starts on F, and it's the Lydian mode. I'm going to take it down the octave, otherwise we're going to get really high, and we don't want to do that, not right now. So starting on F, we will use the syllable fa, and this is what it sounds like. Fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la, so, fa. The semitone is between ti and do and mi to fa. Let's try that again. Fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la, so, fa. Good. The next mode starts on G. It's the Mixolydian mode. G will receive the syllable so. Let's try that. And sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la, so. Good. The next mode is the Aeolian mode. It starts on A, and we'll give it the syllable la to start. Okay? This one also sounds like a natural minor scale, so this one won't sound completely foreign to you. La. La, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, so, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. Good. Try that again. Good. The final mode is the Locrian mode, and it starts on B, and we will give it the syllable T. So that means we're going from T to do. We have a semitone right away. T, and Ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti. Good, try it again. So working through the modes, I started on C and then each mode starts on the next pitch. They kind of make sense when I work through them like that. But if I just ask you to sing a Lydian mode starting on F, you have to know where are the semitones and have the skills to be able to actually sing those semitones. So, Lydian mode starts on F and we're going to sing Fa. Try that. Cool. Did you get it? So I like to put little slur lines in between my semitones in my music. I do that all the time, especially in runs, actually. I always mark where the semitones are. I've marked them for you, so hopefully you can see that and make sense of it. You could go about it the other way. We're only going to start on the pitch C, but we're going to sing all of these modes, okay? So that means I will be playing, starting on C, the different patterns of whole tones and semitones that each mode requires. Let's try it. So the first mode, Ionian mode, major scale. We're all really good at it. Let's try it. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Good. Dorian mode, starting on re. We're also going to begin on the note C. So that means re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re. All of a sudden we have the shift of where those tones and semitones are. Let's start on C. Phrygian mode, where we will give it the solfege syllable mi. So mi to fa, we're jumping in on a semitone right away. Mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, re, do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi. Good. Then we have the Lydian mode. We will start on the syllable fa, still starting on C, fa. Fa, sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la, sol, fa. Good. Then we have Mixolydian mode starting on the syllable so, but still starting on C. So, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la, sol. Good. The Aeolian mode, starting on the note C, but on the syllable la. It'll sound like a natural minor scale, because it is a natural minor scale. La, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti, la. Beautiful. And then our last one is the Locrian mode, starting on T, still on C. We have a semitone right away, going from T to do. Ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do, ti. Good. So, at home, give yourself a starting note and see if you can sing all of these modes. They are very tricky. So give those a try. These are really great ways to test your skills, to make sure you're ready for all of those crazy harmonies and intervals that maybe your choir music throws your way. All right, so another skill I love to do to practice my skills with whole tones and semitones is the octatonic scale. It's not the prettiest sounding scale, but it's challenging. So what we'll do, an octatonic scale, octatonic, there are 8 notes in this scale. We start on C. It's a mix of whole tones and semitones. So if I start off doing a whole tone, C to D, I do a semitone, D to D sharp, then I do a whole tone, which is D sharp to F, semitone F to F sharp, whole tone F sharp to G sharp, semitone G sharp to A, whole tone A to B, semitone B to C. I'll play that all the way through. Cool. Ascending and descending. It's kind of tricky. Let's try it. I'm not going to use solfege to this. We could, but I think that'll make it more confusing. So, on a vowel of your choice, or la 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 la, good. Those semitones should feel like so close. You don't really have to step up to them. You can almost imagine you're sliding into them, because if you slide into a semitone, there is no tone in between two to hit on your way there, so it should be pretty accurate. Try that again. You could even practice saying tone semi. Starting on C, we have tone, semitone, 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 semi. Descending, we have starting semitone, 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 semitone. We can switch up the octatonic scale. You can start with a whole tone, or you can start with a semitone, and that one would sound like this. So that would be semitone, 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 semitone. Descending, we have tone, semitone, 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 semi. Okay, so we'll do an octatonic scale. I will play them on the piano, starting with a whole tone. And I'll go slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Starting with a semitone. 3, 4. Awesome. The very last scale we'll do is just chocked full of semitones. It's a chromatic scale. So our major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Number 1 and number 8, do, do, are the same note. So there's really 7 new notes in a major scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, and then do again. The chromatic scale, we're using every single pitch, taking us from do to do. So all 12 tones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, do. The same descending. So there is solfege for a chromatic scale. I'm going to sing with the solfege. It's a lot of syllables. If you're not familiar with it, you do not need to do it. So here we go. We're going to start in C. Actually, let's start in B flat to be nicer to people who don't like to sing as high. Okay. Ascending, we have do, di, re, mi, fa, fi, so, si, la, li, ti, do. Descending, do, ti, te, la, le, so, si, fa, mi, me, re, ra, do. Okay. Try it without the solfege. If you did solfege. I'm guessing nobody did solfege with me. Try it on an ah. Descending. that you start to go a little bit out of tune. It's pretty easy to go out of tune with our chromatic scale. As we're ascending, I find people don't go high enough for their semitones, and as they're descending, I find they go too low. Each way makes us go flat. So as we're ascending, really feeling like you're stepping up to those semitones or sliding into those new pitches and actually landing in the center of those pitches. So just try that. We have I kind of feel like I'm sliding my way there. As I'm descending, I like to imagine instead of stepping down to the semitones, if this makes sense, I imagine that I'm taking the semitones and bringing them up to where I was singing so that I don't go too far down. So that idea is kind of going, I know I'm going down, but I'm thinking up, so those notes come right up and tuck up beneath the note I was just singing, so they stay completely in tune. If I don't, I go too low. On a vowel of your choice, let's do ascending and descending. And. Take a breath. Beautiful. Okay, we just did a major scale. We were focusing on whole tones and semitones. We're all really comfortable singing major scales. We did a lot of them last week in our vocal agility lesson. So just now focusing on where are the whole tones and where are the semitones. Sometimes people say whole steps and half steps. Same thing, whole tones, semitones. Then taking that knowledge going, my semitones in a major scale are between mi and fa, or notes 3 and 4, and ti and do, or notes 7 and 8, and then seeing if you can really be specific and correct when trying it on the church modes. Then we did the octatonic scale, because that's a really great test to see if you can be flexible and switch between whole tones and semitones. And then the super fun chromatic scale, where we do a whole ton of semitones. Can you stay in tune? If you try that on your own, playing your first note, say you want to start on B flat, which we're doing right now. Sing your chromatic scale. Once you get to the top, then play your top note. Check, were you there? Did you sing something else? Then, as you're descending, play your first note. Sing your descending chromatic scale. After you've landed on that final note, play it on the piano. Check yourself. Were you singing the correct note? Were you too low? Were you too high? Were you just right? That is our skills class. It's kind of nerdy. It's kind of fun. I love it. Let me know if you have any questions. Take notes, and I will see you on Zoom on Wednesday. Thank you.